Yes, we all know the quality of makeup and skincare products are important, but have you ever thought about how you apply them is even more important for results? Since 2019, Anissa Beauty has been leading the way in creating vegan and cruelty-free makeup and skincare brushes that are safe for your skin and the planet and are designed to optimize the application and absorption of skincare products. Their popular Pinnacle Foundation brush has made such a big difference for me. I used to hate wearing foundation because it always felt so caked on, but with this brush, I can use so little product and it goes on flawlessly due to its patented triangular shape. Anissa Beauty's brushes deliver value and quality like no other. The same goes for their Pinnacle Skin Brush, which has completely changed how I apply skincare. I no longer use my hands to apply my products. Check out the Pinnacle Foundation brush as well as several other amazing brushes at anissabeauty.com and get 30% off site-wide with the code DATEABLE. That's ANISA beauty.com. And don't forget to use the code DATEABLE. You know what I don't miss at all? That horrendous week right before my period when I feel like crawling out of my skin, and my skin is full of zits, mind you. Yes, PMS hits me hard, but now it's easier to manage with Estro Control by Happy Mammoth. Estro Control contains science-backed herbal extracts that help support hormonal health, especially during PMS. The way it does this is super interesting. The ingredients help support the liver, where our hormones are processed, and oftentimes PMS symptoms are caused by hormonal fluctuations. Estro Control is also made specifically for women who are premenopausal, a time when, PMS can turn into a beast. I know this firsthand. So for a limited time, you can get 15% off on your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code DATEABLE at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code DATEABLE for 15% off today. Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode. Actually, the last episode of Brunch Talk for this year, for 2024.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe we're hitting the end of 2024. What a year it's been.
It's the end of this year. 2025 is just right around the corner. It does feel like a grand finale of sorts.
I'm excited for 2025. I'm excited for all the newness that's coming.
Yeah.
With our book is launching in January. We got an exciting start of the year, that's for sure.
Yeah. Our book is right around the corner. If you haven't pre-ordered yet, now's the time because it's going to hit you so hard. And if you pre-ordered, it gets delivered to you on the day it comes out.
Yeah. And we have been just behind the scenes, I guess. We've been doing a lot of podcast interviews that will all be airing when the book comes out. And just the response we've been getting from people like, you know, I guess in the industry, I don't know if that's the right term, but like fellow hosts and stuff in the dating space. It's been so nice to hear like that they're like, this book is going to help so many people. It's such a must read. I mean, we feel so strongly about it, but it's always reaffirming to hear others say it too.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just excited to get this into people's hands and start seeing people date differently and not be in this constant state of just,
I know,
modern dating is the worst. We're trying to move forward and get out of that. So don't stay in that state. Come into this new world with us.
And that is one of my New Year's resolutions for 2025 is to reframe everything that I think is the norm. It's to question the norm. It's to not accept everything the first time hearing it. It's to question everything and to be more curious about why is this the norm and does it have to be? Yeah.
I like that a lot. I think my New Year's resolution is kind of related, but a little different. It's like reframing what's happening into more of a positive light.
Mm-hmm.
I think the tactical New Year's resolution is to uninstall and get rid of my X account because that place is toxic as fuck.
I can't believe you're still on it though.
It's like so toxic, but it's like addicting. I get sucked into it. And it's so bad because it literally feels like the sky is falling when you go on there. Everything is so negative.
Ugh.
And I just need to reframe a lot of that stuff because I think that seeps in to other parts of life. And, in general, like I think running a business, like that's been hard. And I need to reframe like the peaks and valleys a bit more as just part of the process. Kind of like when you're dating, right? There's got to be some times that aren't always the best. It's a little negative and you can go there if you want to and really get into it, like how bad things are. But what does it actually do for you? It doesn't really help in any way. And to like, I know for me, a game changer was just like having that faith that like it was all going to work out. And I want to apply that to like other parts of life as well. So that's my resolution.
Well, that's inspiring to hear. I mean, just like with everything that we complain about, we also got to zoom out and recognize what a privilege it is to be in the position we're in, like dating.
100%.
What a privilege it is to get to choose our partner.
Yeah.
To get to say who we want in our life and who we don't want in our life. That's a privilege in itself. So anything we complain about, anything we feel like, why is this so hard? How can it be better? I think the new year is the best time to just pause, zoom out and say, okay, I'm very grateful to be in this privileged position in the first place.
100%. And another area that we always complain about, but again, I really believe is a big privilege, are dating apps, right? Like I look at a dating app and I would never have met my partner of over 3 years any other way.
Yeah.
And like, it's a privilege that we were able to connect and meet in a world where we might not have. That's crazy when you think about it that way.
Yes.
I want to talk about Dating Sunday, which is the first Sunday after the new year, since it's such a thing. And I want to get your take on it, Yue, too. So that would be on January 5th.
Okay.
That's the day. And this is basically like the Super Bowl of dating apps.
Yeah.
So I found this from last year, but according to Tinder, on this day, more bios are expected to be edited than ever, with 2,263 photos added every minute.
Wow.
Messages are expected to be up 22%, and likes are expected to be up 18%. So your chances of a match are set to be higher than ever. This was from an article of the very sophisticated and educational site Cosmopolitan.
Oh,
this
yes.
is where this came from.
Yes. The Wall Street Journal of
dating.
Of our generation.
But this was also from 2024. So, this could be a little different, but the reasons that this article cited is, people are making their dating resolutions. So it's the time to put it all into action, and maybe just resolutions in general around like, this is my year. I want to do it. There was just like the new year, fresh start, all of that. And then another thought they had of why it's so popular is that January just kind of sucks.
Yes.
That was the exact language they used.
Oh, don't I know it. My birthday's in January, and every year I'm like, oh God, it's the worst time. It's like the worst weather wherever you are. Even in LA, it's like cold and rainy, and everyone's like back at work and they don't want to be back at work. January is a horrible time. So we need some entertainment, some good distractions, some positivity. I can see why dating apps would be the place to be.
Yeah. So anyways, what are your thoughts on, I guess, the reasons, but also just dating Sunday as a whole?
It's just like New Year's resolutions. People get very motivated and they're like, this is the year. I'm going to find that somebody, and then I like the spike in positivity on that day. I just hope it lasts. I hope people keep that optimism for the rest of the year.
I am curious if they will see the same impact this year, because dating apps, the rep is very different than I think last year even.
Yeah.
It feels like people are just kind of over it. It makes me really sad because I am a believer of dating apps, but that feels like the vibe that we have right now. That being said, maybe people will come back on for that first Sunday. I think what's nice about it is, and we've talked about this before, is if you use apps, Sunday is a good day because that's when people are active. And the whole point, in my opinion, is not to be in this messaging black hole, but to have the conversations fairly quick and then get off the app. And if you can do it in a day where there's people are dedicated, there's focus, people are wanting to spend time, I think you have more potential for these conversations to go somewhere. But that being said, you have to also lead it that way. So I would say if you are using it this day, try to interact with people and then get the conversation to text and then eventually in person.
That's such a good point. So what we're saying is don't come on to the apps on that first Sunday and expect this new inventory to show up, fresh meat
Right.
that your person just was not on dating apps in 2024 and all of a sudden they're going to appear. This is your opportunity on that Sunday to reset your dating app behavior.
Yeah.
So that you can use it in a way that best serves you. So maybe on that day, you can establish, I'm only going to be on this for 20 minutes. I'm spending 30 seconds per profile. I'm going to look at everybody from the viewpoint of, would I invite them to a house party I'm having? You're not looking for your future wife or husband or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. It's just, does this person look interesting enough that I want to invite them to my house party? And then reset the culture you have around dating apps. That's like the best use of this time.
I think my other fear of this day, where there's just so much activity, is that if you let dating app dynamics take hold of you, remember they are designed to keep you on the hook. That is the goal, is to keep you swiping and looking for more matches.
Yeah.
You need to talk to the people you're matching with. Don't just accumulate matches. I could see someone being like, I'm just going to get all these matches on this day. And then you're burnt out and you don't actually start a conversation with anyone. What does that do?
Yeah.
Nothing. I would rather match with someone, start talking to them, even though, yeah, there might be all these other people on there, but establish some conversations that could actually be dates.
I would even challenge you all to, before you message someone new, continue a conversation with someone you have from 2024. Like, go back through your messaging graveyard.
Yeah.
Where did this conversation go? Like, it had potential. Pick it back up. It's not about finding new. It's about just a new mindset.
Yeah. And of course, if they're not receptive, don't keep hounding them.
No, don't.
At that point,
don't be a stalker.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that we were able to chat about that. Hopefully people can take advantage, but also not put too much stake in it too.
Yeah.
We're going to do some rapid fire of New Year's questions. But before we do, let's take a break to hear from our sponsors.
What an incredible year has been, Dateables. As I welcome the new year, I have some lofty goals for myself, including learning a new language. And I know I can do that with Rosetta Stone, the most trusted language learning program available on desktop or as an app. And it truly immerses you in the language you want to learn. I've heard that learning a new language fosters more empathy, and I'm all about it. And Rosetta Stone makes the learning process so intuitive and immersive with no English translations, which really makes you learn to speak, listen, and think in that language. Want to learn Dutch or Arabic, Chinese, or French? With 25 languages to choose from, the world is your oyster. Start the new year off with a resolution you can reach. Today, Dateable listeners can take advantage of this New Year's special of Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership. Visit rosettastone.com/today. That's unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your New Year's offer at rosettastone.com/today. Today. It feels so great when you can get someone a gift they wouldn't necessarily get for themselves. It's like a little reminder that they're worth it. So for quality gifts at an affordable price, my go-to is Quince. There's something for everyone. And I truly think you can't go wrong with their cashmere line, including their iconic Mongolian cashmere sweaters, which start at just $50. I actually just got the short sleeve version in brown, and it looks so luxe paired with some white slacks and brown loafers. Hello, rich auntie vibes. And for whatever you're looking for, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They can do this by partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, which passes the savings on to you. Gift luxury this holiday season without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/dateable for 365-day returns, plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable.
Let me guess, you have a life and job that you love, but the one thing missing is love itself. If you want to take your dating journey seriously this year, we highly recommend checking out Dating Intentionally wherever you get your podcasts. Dating Intentionally is hosted by Talia Corinne, who's on a mission to make dating fun and help you date with confidence. Talia pulls from her own experience going on 180 dates with over 60 people in just 10 months, which ultimately led to her getting married. She's also joined by therapists, coaches, experts, and authors like us. We had a great conversation with Talia on her show all about dating skills you need to find the relationship you want. That's episode 78. If you're looking for practical, no-nonsense advice that you can apply to your dating life today, you can listen to Dating Intentionally on Tuesdays and Fridays on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Okay, we are back. We have 5 questions we're going to run through.
First one, how can I set realistic dating goals for the new year?
This is, I think, in line with actually what we were talking about. I think sometimes people can go into the new year and be like, everything's going to change. I'm going to meet my person like day 1 in January. It's like any New Year's resolution. What is it? Like most people stop it by the end of January.
Yeah.
We also need to temper our expectations. I would say it's a marathon, not a sprint. So
yes.
I don't know if it needs to be realistic that I'm going to like meet all these people, but I would say, how do we reframe realistic dating goals to something you can control?
Yeah.
Like maybe it's changing what those goals are to something like, I will show up as my authentic self on every date, or I will put in the effort and reach out to someone and ask for clarity if I'm unsure about a situation instead of expecting them to be a mind reader. I will initiate a text and not wait for someone and play the games of dating that don't really serve me. Like I would say looking at those would be really good ways to frame dating goals instead of like, I'm going to have 20 dates by the end of January.
Yeah, I think it's like a personal dating manifesto. Why don't you write out the 10 things that you are going to be true to that shows that you have integrity in dating? So it could be all of those that Julie just listed off. Those were really good. You might want to rewind and copy those. Could also just be like, I'm going to go into each date with the intention of learning 3 new things.
Yeah.
It's just like shifting your goals around what is going to serve you and not what you're hoping for this fantasy or this story to play out, right? Use dating as a playground for growth, for expansion, for learning.
Okay.
All right. What are the best strategies for meeting new people in January?
Ooh, cold weather time. I actually think this is the best time to do a house party, to propose some dinner party or dining out experience. I think a lot of people are looking for plans. There's less events happening. So why not take matters into your own hands?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm partial to this a little because I had a company before DATEABLE called 500 Brunches, but there's something about bringing people over food together in small groups.
Yeah.
I think like in that world, it was like 8 people was ideal because you could kind of have a conversation with the whole group, but it also gave you opportunities to meet new people. So maybe there's something that you have like every friend brings someone else that you don't know.
Yeah.
And you get together for a dinner, or just maybe it doesn't even need to be under a dating context, but just like setting up events with new networks of friends. Like I was thinking about like how we used to have our tea time it was kind of a random group. And it was like UA's friend organized it. And then UA brought me, and then I brought another friend, and then her friend brought other people. And it was just kind of a random group of people, but it was really fun to like be around different people. And also like I'm thinking about the episode that we did a couple weeks ago with Harrison and Brandon about just expanding your network, because you never know who people in your network know that you could end up being introduced to and date down the road.
My friend does this supper club once a month with her friends, but then they kind of rotate out a wild card chair, Yeah,
I love that.
And so the 3 of them get together, and there's always like one newer person that they get to know as well. And it's over some like fancy dinner. Like they go to some of the best restaurants in LA. So they get to do something they already love and then get to know someone new. And I think that's something you can start. You don't need to be part of someone else's supper club. Start your own monthly, weekly tradition so that you can expand your network.
Also, I'm not going to give too many details away yet, but there may be some dateable meetups happening. So just going to put that out there. There may be.
You're like the type of person who's like, I'm not going to tell you the secret. And then you just tell the whole secret. I'm not going to tell you exactly what happened, but here's what happened.
There's no details here. Just planting the seed. Anyways, keep your eye out.
Keep your eye out. This may or may not happen. Next question. How do I avoid repeating the same dating mistakes I made last year?
Ooh, first of all, I think eliminating the pressure that you're going to not make mistakes. That's just reality, is that you're always making mistakes. As long as you learn from them, that they could be a good thing. But if you don't want to repeat the same ones, I would say this is the perfect time right now to reflect on the last year.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn? What would you have done differently? I know, like, when I kept being with people that were like, I don't want a girlfriend, I realized that I would never stand for someone that doesn't, like, outright says, I don't want to be in a relationship. Like, why would you continue to like try to change that person and bark down the wrong tree? So that was something personally that I was like, this is a very glaringly obvious one that I can learn from and never do again.
Yes.
So do you have anything like that that you could pull back on?
I like this idea of having an accountability partner. Maybe you have a friend who also is in a similar boat. You two can list out some things you want to avoid this year and then keep each other accountable.
I like that.
Because sometimes I feel like when I do it myself, I'm a little bit more flexible.
I really like that.
Right? Like, oh no, that wasn't really repeating the same mistake. But a friend would say, yeah, that was repeating the same mistake.
You're like, yeah, you did. You need someone to call your BS a little.
Yeah, you do. You do. All right. Next question. How do I stay hopeful that dating will be different this year?
First things first, there is a very magical book that will be available on January 28th.
Yes.
That will make you hopeful about dating. It's called How to Be Dateable, if you didn't gather. So there is hope.
Oh,
but
so good.
I mean, ultimately, it's the mindset that you bring to dating.
Mm-hmm.
But how can you frame like dating as something that you look forward to? Maybe that's a better way to frame it, of like looking at what you can be grateful for in dating is a way to stay hopeful, because it reshifts to the positives of who you get to meet, what you get to do, instead of looking at all the negatives. Like I was saying up top about my New Year's resolution, if you start to go into that hole of everything is broken, everything isn't working, all of that, and you change that outcome, that's how you change to being hopeful. We obviously go a lot deeper in our book, but I really do think you absolutely will leave feeling hopeful if you read it.
Yeah. First is to define what does different mean to you. Because I think sometimes we're like, oh no, things are going to be different this year, right?
Yeah.
But what is different? What does that mean? And once you define what that different is, your actions will start aligning to that different outcome. I truly believe that. We act out of our belief system.
Yeah.
And if you believe that things are going to go in this one direction that quote unquote is different, then you'll be in alignment with that. You don't even have to work that hard. It's just going to work out for you. But first and foremost, gain clarity on what is the difference that you're looking for. How do you know? How can you tell when things are different?
Yeah. And changing the metrics too. That will give you hope if you're looking at different metrics.
Last but not least, question is it okay to take a break from dating at the start of the year?
I mean, yeah, of course. You can take a break whenever you want. I think as long as it's an intentional break, that's what we've said before too. Like if it's just that constant cycle of uninstalling the apps, reinstalling, uninstalling, bitching about dating, not doing anything different, that doesn't really rejuvenate you.
Yeah.
But if you can take that break to reflect on patterns, to figure out like, what is it you really want? Again, I'll plug our book, but I think it's a great time to read the book if you're on a dating break, because it will give you that, sense of hope and feeling that like you don't have to approach things the same way that you were before. I'm all for taking breaks. I attribute a lot of my growth to when I took breaks in dating, as long as you're using it to propel yourself forward.
Yeah, what's fascinating is I have encountered a lot of people who are constantly pushing back the milestone of dating. Like, I'm too busy with work right now. Once work settles down, I'll start dating. Or I'm just so stressed right now. I haven't been working out. So once I start working out, I'll start dating again.
Yeah.
And I would challenge back and say, in a relationship, would you say, I'll hang out with my partner when my work is less busy, or when I start working out again, I will show affection to my partner?
Right.
There's no like pausing in a relationship. So I think instead of thinking like you need to pause because you're not ready to date, think about how you can incorporate dating into your life as is, and how that would even play out in a relationship, because your life doesn't stop.
That's such a good point, because I think we see people taking breaks a lot, but maybe it's just you need to lower the amount of time that you're spending dating.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean that you have to go off completely. But like when I was dating before I met my partner, I was using dating apps like once a week. Like, I would go on Sundays because that's when there was the most activity. And I would basically like make that my day of using dating apps. And then I'd have like one day that I was using to like actually meet up with people.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like overtaking my life, and it felt really manageable. And it was, for the first time, I didn't feel burnt out by dating.
Yes.
So maybe another option, instead of going like cold turkey no, is just to think about like your dating consumption strategy a bit more.
Yeah. But this is all to show you that the new year does not mean anything drastic is going to happen. Let's just be realistic about that.
Yeah.
But you can have a shift in how you want to play out your love life, and you can take the control back. So if you're ready for that, that's really the only resolution you need this year, is to take back the control.
Awesome. What a great year wrap up. Last brunch talk of the year.
Wonderful. Well, happy New Year, everybody. We are not going anywhere, but now we can officially say, see you all next year.
And come back for the off season. We will be back doing some really special episodes. We always love this time of year when we interview each other and do some other different unique takes. And keep your brunch talk questions coming, because we will resume those when the next season comes back in February.
All right. See y'all next year.
Bye.
$231. That's the average number of apps used by many companies. This leads to a lot of context switching that can distract employees and costs your company. Luckily, Grammarly can help. Grammarly's AI works in over 500,000 apps and websites, making it easy for your team to crank out clear, on-brand emails, documents, messages, and more. In just one click, they can go from blank page to first draft, all without leaving the page they're on. Grammarly has 15 years of experience building effective, secure AI that can be implemented in days with minimal IT overhead. It goes beyond basic grammar to help tailor writing to specific audiences, whether that means adding an executive summary, fine-tuning tone, or cutting out jargon. Join 70,000 teams who save an average of $5,000 per employee per year using Grammarly. Go to Grammarly.com/enterprise to learn more. Grammarly. Enterprise-ready AI.